Greetings, welcome back to CS133 Practical Programming with Python. This is week 3. We're working on our little guessing game project, part 3, which we're going to add now list and functions to what we've already done. Basically, we're going to add a list and make it so they have to guess those quote-unquote random numbers. They're not random in this part, but they're going to guess those, basically have to guess correctly 5 times before they're done. So with that, one big change is we're changing it so that your variable, the answer, is now going to be a list. We're also going to put pretty much all of our rest of our code into a actual function. So then all we need to do is loop through the list, call the function, and then it'll just process each of their rounds, so to speak. All right, so let's go ahead and look through this. Make this a little bit larger so you can see it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and full screen this as we go through with it. So, again, we're asking them for their name equals, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time putting a lot of detail in this. I'm just going to enter name. Might want to spell it correctly though. And then again, answers. I put S there so you know that it's a list. And they're just numbers, so let's go with 55, comma. I'm just typing in a couple digits. That's already 5. Alright, now we create the definition, the function. It needs to be created here. So I'm going to just kind of create it here for now. So check. Yeah, we'll call it run round, right? So it's going to run each round. So in the first round will be this one, then it'll be this one, and so on and so forth. And then I'm just going to put, start code so I can not have that definition broken quite yet. So now is our loop. Because again, we're going to loop through all of these and then run the code. And we've already done the code before, right? So most of this is we're setting up our definition. You do def and then run round with parentheses, and then we're going to go ahead and add our colon, right? And then if you're, most programming editors will, when you click enter, will automatically indent for you, but again, it's just like our if statements or while statements. You need to indent. Everything that's indented is part of it, and now I'm no longer indented, so I'm no longer part of it. So let's go ahead and do our loop. So for I in range, and we just need to get the length of answers. So lang answers, and that's lang answers. So there's still parentheses around that, so don't miss that. And then colon enter, and now we're going to run round, right? We've got to run the round. And we're going to send in the answer, right? We're going to send in the answer. So the answer is answers I. Answers I. So it's going to run the round, and it's going to add the answers, right? So now let's starting the code, because this is pretty much the rest of the thing. Each of these are going to change for us. So you could almost put most of the code, just copy and paste in here. I'm going to write it so you can follow along too. If you want to just do this again, get practice doing everything. First, let's get the guess. Equals, we're going to get input. Enter a number between 0 and 100. Let's go ahead and make the count equal to 1, because they just guessed correct. And then we're going to do, and this is where we sent this, so let's go ahead and put answer, right? Because this is the answer. Answers I is the answer for that round. So now we can say if the, while, all right, this is a loop. We're going to loop through this. Basically, we're going to be stuck in this definition until they get the right answer. That's the whole point of this. This is a round, so they're going to be stuck in this until they're done, and then we're going to go around. So while guess is not equal to answer, let's run this loop. Now, guess is a string, so therefore we need to turn it into an int. We're still indented, so that's good. And now we basically do our if statements. If it's too high, if it's too low. So if the guess, still need that int, guess is less than the answer, they guessed too low, right? It's too low. So let's first get their guess again. Guess is equal to, and we're going to ask them to guess again. But we're going to tell them to guess too low, right? You guessed too low. Try again. Let's move this over so you can see it. Enter backspace. We're done with that one. Now it's the elif, which is essentially a thing. So I'm going to copy all of this, paste it. Now if the guess is greater than it, right? They guessed too high, so let's change it to too high. And now we are done with that. So we're still inside the while statement. Right? Let's be clear, we're still inside the while statement. Right, we're still inside the while statement. We're going to do count plus equals 1. And now we're going to get out of the while statement and then let them know what their guess was for that round. So print you guessed this, you guessed blank, so this, put a space, plus count, and space times. Oops, not capitalize. So you guessed whatever the count is times, and then it's done, right? The definition's done. It'll come down here, it'll run the loop again, and then it'll come, get the new answer, send it, and it'll run this for the next round. I think the code's right, so let's do our good old testing before we go too much through. Enter your name, stuff, doesn't matter. Enter a guess. I'm going to guess too high. Guess too high. I'm going to guess too low. Guess too low. I'm going to guess just right. And, oh, right. Good old thing. Count is an integer. We need to create it to a string. And this is how we do our troubleshooting. Cannot concatenate string to integer. So that's how I knew this was an integer. Well, I should have known in the first place. But, you know, sometimes you want to run your code to see if it's working. Just run this again. Stuff. Too high. Too low. Just right. Took me 3 times for that one. Guess a number between 1 and 100. So 75. Took you 1 guess. All right, let's go. Next one is 62. So let's try 99. 5. These are all too low. Of course, that was too high. So this should be 4 guesses. 4 guesses. And then let's just get the rest of them right. And then we're done. Now we could put, you know, congratulations, game over down here. That wasn't actually in the part of it. And if we wanted to, we could make it so there's a global counter and we could do the total count thing. But for this, we have our definition. It takes a parameter that it uses throughout it, and every time you loop through, it updates that parameter. So that is the gist of the project that we're working on. Have a good one. We'll see you next lesson.